Hello, welcome back to the next episode in our Byte-Sized interactions, and we're going to expand on our previous remote interaction tutorial by actually making a light switch. Rather than clicking on a nondescript cube here, we're going to remove that from the scene, and we're going to do a light switch and light bulb. So we're going to need, well, we don't need the light bulb, we're going to just use this, but we're going to need a light switch. So we're going to head to Fab. We're going to get ourselves a free object. So if you come to Window, Fab, if you're not on this version of Unreal, you may have to just go to Fab on the website. Okay, when you get there, just type in the search light switch, and one of the first ones that comes up is this one here by Rysuza. If you click on this one, if you can't see it, you might have to change the filter at the top for free. Okay, so it comes with a light bulb and a switch. Now, as you can see from our previous door tutorial where we downloaded the door, there was a bit of work we had to do to get it working how we wanted to. We had to separate meshes and stuff, and I've got a feeling we're going to have to do that with this. Well, I haven't just got a feeling, I've already tried, and I know we do. So you want to add it to your project. I've already done so I'm not going to do that. You can even add it to your library as well if you want to get back to it at some other point, but you want to add it to your project. Okay, and once you've done so, you should have in your content fab drawer a light underscore switch underscore and underscore bulb. Alright, if you go into that and static meshes, now you'll see what I mean about this one. This one's a royal pain in the backside, because if we drag this out to here, as you can see, the pivot points here and the objects are as one object all the way over here. So they're not even sent on the pivot, so it looks like it's been taken from a scene in Blender and it hasn't been zeroed out. So pain in the backside, yes indeed. So how are we going to get this done? Well, like I said, we don't want the light bulb, but we do want the switch. And judging if like this, yeah, there is a gap there, I believe, so we should be able to separate the two. Okay, I've had to kind of cut in a little bit here because what I did got a bit messy and something happened that I didn't notice while I was trying to separate the bulb and the switch. So I'm going to go through it again to make sure you understand what I did. So selection mode, change to modeling mode. You want to come to, right, I've tried all the other ways around this. This is seemed to be the best way. I did go to select and try select, but it was a bit messy, so we'll try this one, transform split. And if you choose by vertex overlap and then hit accept, it creates 4 objects here. And it got a bit messy in my other one. I didn't actually show that I actually clicked accept. I must have clicked it by accident and not mentioned it. So we'll go back into the video from this point onwards and you'll be able to understand how the rest of this works. The bottom one, as you can see, is highlighted there, is the hanger. So I'm going to delete that. Let's just use the delete key, it's quicker. And then click on the bulb. Yep, we're just going to delete that one. So we now have a switch and the plate that goes with it, but obviously the pivot's in the wrong place. So if I edit pivot and we want to center, yeah, accept. And then the same with the other object there, edit pivot, center, accept. We now have 2 separate objects here, but they're actually no good to us there because we need to build them as static meshes into our objects, into our blueprint we're going to create. So we need to first either edit rename, or if you just click and click again but not too quick, it will work, or F2. We're going to call this light switch plate, and this one F2, and we're going to call that light switch toggle. Where did that just disappear to? Oh, I missed it. I typed that wrong, didn't I? It's 8. There we go. Use some weird character at the beginning. There we go. Light switch toggle. So, can we now turn these into static meshes? So, actor, convert to static mesh. There we go. So if you right click, I don't think it's in the context there. No. So click on whichever one you want first. Go to actor, convert light switch plate to static mesh. Find somewhere to put it. So I'm going to put it in my static meshes folder, and we're going to new folder and call this lights, and we're going to call it light switch plate 01. The reason I always put 01 at the end of these things is so that next time I can use another light switch with 02, so that I can keep them separately basically. So now select the toggle again, actor, convert to static mesh, and we'll put it in the same place, lights, and we're going to call this light switch toggle 01, so we know that they go together. We've centered the pivot on them. So now if I double click this, we should have our light switch, which we do. Yeah, there we go. And we got the same with the toggle. So we now have 2 items that we can use for our light switch. So only thing we don't have, probably not so important on this, is we don't have any collision. So we need to just add a simplified box collision to that. That's perfect for this. It's probably don't even need it because I don't think you're ever going to walk through it. It all depends on whether you want to make it interactable in some way, maybe so you can remove the screws and get to the wires behind, whereas you'd probably just put some sphere collisions over the screws. But I'm just going to put a box collision on it anyway and save that, and I will come back to here, and we're going to go to our content drawer, sorry, and go to this light switch toggle, and just zoom in on that a bit. And now this one, again, because it's so small, we don't need an auto convex collision. We just need a box collision because it matters not. Really don't like how small that is. Makes it awkward to zoom around with the camera. So yeah, we're just going to add a standard box collision because it's only for interaction purposes. So if we save, we now have collision on both of our objects. So I'm going to highlight the switch plate, and then I'm going to come to my no, I'm not going to highlight. Yeah, leave the switch plate highlighted. It makes no difference. So I'm going to go interactable, and sorry, no blueprints. Oh, I'm not going to go to either by the looks of it. What have I done with my? Oh, it's in actors. Sorry. I'm going to make a new child actor of an interact actor, like we did with the door, like we did with the cube sphere thingy, what's imaging, and create a child blueprint class, and we're going to call it BP underscore light switch 01. There we go. And I'm going to move this. So if I put it in my lights section there. I'll put it in there. So drag this and put it in lights and select move. There we go. Okay, let's open her up. Like I said, if we go back here and we find our static meshes that we did, which are down here for lights, highlight the switch plate, click add in the components and static mesh, and as you can see, because I've already got it highlighted, it's going to make it from the objects I've got highlighted. Now I've slowed my thing down. It's facing the wrong way on the x-axis, which I could have probably fixed earlier, but no, we'll do it here. We need to flip this round. So if we just spin this round 90 degrees, 180 degrees, sorry. There we go. That's the right way around. Now, if we go to the content drawer again, click on the light switch toggle, click add under the components, and again static mesh, and it'll give us our toggle. And again, that's backwards, so we want to rotate that round 180. There we go. Now let's have a look to see how well and how flush that fits. Now that looks like it's a bit further back. I think the pivot's just in a slightly different place, so I'm going to hit W here, and I'm going to bring this. Oh, that's snapping way too much. Let's turn the snap off and let's do this gradually. I'm going to put that there. Perfect. Okay, compile and save. That's the graphical part of it done. Is this in the center? Well, I'm going to put that. Sorry, the other way around. I'm going to put the toggle and parent it to there, so whenever we move this, it will move the toggle. Not that it really matters. And I don't know why it does this minus 1.179.99999, so matters not. I'm just going to change it though to 180. I think it's probably done the same on this. Yeah, no, it hasn't. Okay, right, we now have a toggle. Obviously there's going to be some animation to this. We also need to have whether it's on or off. So we're going to add a new variable, and we're going to say, let's call it the switch state, and we're going to leave it as a boolean, and we're going to make it so it's viewable. I'm also going to make the control target viewable, which I think it already is. I just can't, I can't do it in here because it's an inherited variable, but it's already set as viewable. Right, so we now have our switch, and we can interact with it because it's an interact switch. So we need to tag this here, and I think I used the words interactable if I remember rightly. Let's type it in, but I will double check. So type tags in your search on your details and make sure you've got the toggle selected. Add an element, and we're going to call it interactable. And as I've spelt it wrong, that will not work. Interactable. Right, save that. Now you don't need to do this. I'm just going to double check by having a look at my door. My door blueprints, interactable doors. There we go. And this door here. And let's go to the viewport. I just want to check the tags on this. Interactable, and I've used a capital, so I'm going to copy that just to be sure. I'm not sure how case sensitive it is, so I'm going to copy that to be sure. Close that, and let's paste that in there. Just make sure I've got it correctly. There we go. So let's minimize that down. I'm going to delete both of these objects because they're just the static meshes. I'm going to come along here, and I'm going to set that back to selection mode because I was in modeling mode trying to separate that thing, but it was a bit easier for us. Right, okay, I'm just going to put the light switch on this door frame. It's going to be a little bit weird, but I'm not going to build a wall just to put a light switch. So we come down and we go to lights, and we have, oh no we don't, sorry, we're going to our lights in our interactables, and we drag this out, and we're going to put it there. It's facing the wrong way, so press E on the keyboard and rotate it 90. Okay, and my door isn't at the right angle. I've rotated it minus, let's just put 0 on that. Do minus 90. There we go. And if we click back on here, press W, and we'll go up to about there, and we're going to bring it back to there. Like I said, it's not going to look pretty. I'm just putting it on here for the hell of it, and it's just a quick thing on how to make a light switch. That doesn't look too bad, does it? So if we come along and aim, we've got interact. We haven't on the plate, but we have on our switch, as we should know because we've given it the tag. So we've separated that from that. I've really got lagging at the moment. I don't know if it's because I've got DaVinci Resolve open as well. Let me just quickly close that out because it's a bit laggy at the moment. There we go. Let's just try that. Oh, that's a bit better. Less laggy. Must have been using quite a lot of memory because DaVinci does. Right. We have our switch. Now, it doesn't do anything because we haven't linked it. But we can link it now to our lights. So if we come back a bit so we can view the light switch, add in a control target, click on the dropper and click on there, and we should have a light. Hey! End of the tutorial. No, I'm just going to add one last thing in. So we've got our light switch, we've got it working, but it's not moving. So we're just going to add a little bit of an animation in there. So doing this off the cuff, I haven't actually wrote anything towards this, as you can probably tell. But yeah, I'm doing this a little bit off cuff. So let's, quick way to get to the object is edit BP light switch over here on the right. So we just click that and it opens this. So that's our default angle for the toggle. So if we come to the side a little bit here, and just I don't want to go exactly to the side, I just want a bit of an angle. In fact, to be fair, that's probably a bit too far forward. Is that better? Yeah, that's probably a bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do is get this toggle. Let's clear my details here, and I'm going to rotate it around, and the green is pointing towards, so it's the Y axis. So that's this here, and there we go. That looks like it's 17 degrees and 3 degrees. Looks about flush. 17 degrees and 3 degrees. So we're going to leave it at 3. Because it's not like a door, we're going to hard code this one. And it's not going to be a really slow animation. So it's probably only going to be like a second long animation. So we need to go into our event graph, and we need to do our interface FN interact. Yeah. So when we interact with this, what are we going to do? So the current state of the switch is here. We know that. We've got to animate the switch. Now I'm going to do it all in here, but I'll probably collapse it to functions. So the switch state. We need to set the switch state based on its opposite, and our usual way is to drag the switch state onto this onto this exec pin, and that gives us a set, and then we drag this out, don't we, get a get, and we use our old friend the not boolean. So you can either say not boolean like so, or you can exclamation mark and choose not boolean, and that automatically sets it to the opposite. What we then need to do is rotate our switch. So We need to do that based on the state of this state, basically. So if it's one, we play it one way. If it's another, we play it the other. So we want to come off here and we want a timeline. And so go to the bottom, add timeline. And we're going to call this toggle. I was going to call it toggle, but that's just completely negates it. And we're also going to come off here actually and put a branch. There we go. And we feed this in. So we now know that if it's on, we want it in the down position, so that the top is sticking out and the bottom is flush with the plate. And we've already checked that's 17 degrees. Okay, so if we double our toggle, and we need to add a track and a float track, and we want a length of 1 second. It might be too long, 1 second, but we'll see. Right click anywhere, add key. At time 0 will be what did we say, 3 degrees, and then right click, add key, and at time 1 we have 17 degrees. And then if you click both of these, you should be able to see that in view. Okay, at the moment I've not done anything special with this curve. You could actually make it slightly curved, but the switch is normally snaps into place, so I don't really want to have it smooth or anything, so we're just going to have a straight curve as such. Save that, come back out. Oh, didn't mean to come back out of it totally, that's my bad. Do not come back out. Click back onto your event graph. Right, if the switch is on, we want to play it, so we want to, was it negative 17? Let's just double check that. Always best to look. Let's rotate this, and what did we have? No, it was 17. It was 17, so that's fine. Just making sure. So back into the event graph. So we want to reverse. So on update, we want to rotate the toggle switch. So if we grab the toggle and we set relative rotation, and that connects to the update, and the actual rotation is only around the Y, which we just tested. So split the struct pin and bring this to here, compile and save. So if we run this now, did it move? Yeah, it did. Just couldn't see it very well. There you go. That's probably too slow. Maybe in a horror setting it might look kind of cool because you add in a little bit of tension, but that's too slow. So if we change this to position 0.5, and then we'll set the length of it to 0.5, we'll speed it up by double. And it's still probably too slow. For real life it is. Anyway, maybe that's what you're heading for in your game, but I don't like that at all. So I'm going to go for double the time again. So 0.25 and 0.25. Try that. You choose whatever speeds you like for your own needs and wants. Let's put this here. That's better. It's probably even quicker than that, but yeah, there you go. Perfect. But as you see, the lights start working, and that's because I said it was already interacting, but we forgot our major important component that doesn't seem to be done automatically, is this doesn't call to its parent function. So drag this over a little bit, right click on it, add call to parent, and slot that in there. We'll add the player character in. I don't need it, but we just put it there by default. So now we come up, we have a light. It's still too slow for my liking, but I'm not going to change it. But there you go, you have a light switch. Yeah. And what you can do is, like you have, if I move this to that side, and then, that's probably a little bit too far, and then do this, where you've got a light switch at the end of each hall. And this is how it works. It automatically does what you want it to do. Yeah. And it doesn't matter which one you go to, it will always toggle it. And just like it does in real life, it leaves these switches in the wrong places in some points, which it always does happen. And it annoys me how that works, but unless you invent some motorized switches that automatically flick back. So that means you can have light switches at the end of a hall without doing anything any difference. All I did then to copy that, I held the Alt key and I dragged across. So you can even have 3 switches. If you've got 3 different angles to the same hall, you can have 3 switches controlling the same thing. So nice, quick and easy, and just extends on the previous episode. What we'll go into next session is about locks and keys. Yeah, we'll go into that into the next one. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that and learned something from it. I think you probably would have fathomed how most of that worked anyway, but at least we put a face to our light switch, so it looked a bit more like a light switch instead of our stupid little ball and cube thing. But yeah, simple, done. Hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.